Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Becoming You podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about why mindset work alone is not enough for transformation. So, I shared some Instagram slides or carousel, whatever you want to call it. I was inspired to share this information. And I had somebody who was very triggered by my post. And they told me so in my DMs in not so very kind words about how dare I share something like this because it's making people feel not good enough. And I thought, aha, this is the perfect reason why I need to share it on my podcast. Because if you are feeling uncomfortable hearing the information that I'm about to share you, that's a good thing, right? Anytime we feel uncomfortable, that is a good thing because that means a truth that we have not acknowledged within us is being activated. So knowing that we have deep down in our subconscious and our unconscious, but we're not facing it because we just don't want to deal with it. Or it means that a boundary has been crossed. So this person who DM'd me and said, how dare you, might be somebody who's been doing a lot of mindset work. And maybe some of the things that I shared on my post didn't sit well with her, right? So it made her angry. She's like, how dare she tell me that the work I'm doing is not working? How dare she, right? She's making me feel angry and emotions are coming up that I don't want to deal with. So instead of dealing with those emotions, I'm going to message her and tell her that she shouldn't be sharing such information because it's deeply upsetting, right? So obviously something in the information that I shared triggered her. And obviously my intention is never ever meant to trigger anyone, but I'm also a person who's always, by being on social media, by creating this podcast, by being quote unquote a public figure, I am my job is to help you reflect back within, right? And if any part of your life is not working and an information that I share makes you realize, hey, this is not working and this could be why. For some people, that inspires them to take action. And for some people, they're not ready to take action. And rather than acknowledge that, it's just easier to blame somebody else for making them upset, right? So getting uncomfortable is just a flag within you that says, hey, something is off alignment here. Something is not in alignment, either about the way I want to live and where I want to be, or this person's, whatever they're saying is going against my values. It just means it's time to look within and recorrect course. Either drop what this person is telling me as truth. It is not my truth. And so I choose not to believe it. That's a great way to realign. Or it could be, oh my gosh, what this person is telling me feels like truth, but it's a truth that I haven't been able to acknowledge. And now it's time to take action so that this truth, like I can integrate it and I can change this part of me that does not feel good. Right. So that's what inspired this podcast episode. So let's get started with the topic, why mindset work alone isn't enough for a transformation. So I want to be completely honest with you guys. I started out as a mindset coach. And I'm sure in some of my copy on my websites, my social media, somewhere, I'm sure I still refer to myself as a mindset coach. And mindset is amazing. That's where we all start. That's where I started when I started realizing, oh, the way I think is not serving me. And your mindset is really a combination of how you think and what you believe. And if our beliefs restrict us, then we live a very restricted life. If our beliefs expand us, then we live a very expansive life. Now, this sounds really simple, right? So why can't I just believe things that help expand my life? Why can't it be that simple? Well, it's because our thoughts and beliefs are not always in our conscious awareness. A lot of times we have a thought and we don't even realize we're having a thought. A lot of times we have a thought and we are just not aware of it at all. It is so ingrained in us that we believe it's a part of us and we can't separate our thoughts from ourselves. And a lot of times it's just the way we've always thought, and we are not aware that we can think about things in a different way, or we're allowed to think about things in a different way. Like, let me use the example of money. One of the most ingrained beliefs that a lot of people have is money is really hard to make. Money is really hard to make. Now, I know I can't see you wherever you are listening to this, but raise your hands if that is a belief that you have. And you have so much evidence. You just know this to be true. Money is so hard to make. It is 100% your truth and your reality. Just look at my life. Look at my parents' life. Like, that's just what it is. This is what I've always been told, right? So that's a thought you probably have a lot of times as you go about your day, right? And it's something that you've never, ever, ever questioned. And you just believe it to be the truth. The truth. You are so solid in that knowing of money is so hard to make that is your entire world and reality. And you've never thought to question it. That was the case for me. Well, that is my text. I'm sorry. Let me turn it off. That was the case for me, right? Until I started working with a coach and she started telling me things like, well, do you think that's true for everybody? I was like, what? What do you mean? She was like, do you believe there are some people in this world who think money is really easy to make? And I was like, yeah, but that's not me. It's not true for me. And she was like, well, but why can't you make it true for you? I was like, because reality, like I'm living a life where money is hard to make. And she said, your identity is so tied to that story. You are someone who is like aware money is hard to make. That is part of your identity. And you believe that is who you are. That now that I'm challenging that worldview, you're having a hard time letting go and believing something else. Right? So going back to my original point about why can't I just have beliefs that are more expansive? Well, when we start to question our beliefs, we come up against like a wall, right? We are now questioning, well, who am I? If I don't believe this, then who do I become? Right? It starts to like shake the very core of the foundation of the life you have built in it, because our life is built on the beliefs that we have. So if you start to question your beliefs, your mind starts to have an existential crisis of like, oh my God, if this isn't true, then what else is not true? So rather than answer that question, we just hang on to our beliefs. So going back to my original point about why mindset work alone is not enough, there's only a certain amount of progress we can make from changing our beliefs, right? Because so here's point number one. Mindset work, your thoughts and beliefs, address your conscious thoughts and beliefs. These are things you have been able to excavate and bring to the surface. And even that is hard work, right? Because until now, you've just thought the things you've always thought and assumed it was real. Like money is hard to make. I am fat. I am ugly. I don't have confidence. Things like that don't happen to people like me. I'm not special enough. I'm not clever enough. These are all thoughts and beliefs. No matter how hard I work, it's never enough. I'm just not organized enough. I'm just not smart enough. Like it's too good to be true, right? When something good happens, I just know something terrible is around the corner. So most of us don't even question the beliefs and thoughts that we have. We don't go, why do I think that? Never until you are in so much pain in your life, like pain and suffering. I don't mean physical pain. It could be physical pain. But until we have some sort of life crisis happen, right? Which is what happened to me. I was so unhappy. Over time, my unhappiness had compounded and compounded and compounded until one point I woke up in my life and I was like, this cannot be my life. I don't know why my voice just changed. But that's how much emotional suffering and pain I was in. I kept waking up every day. I was like, this is not the life I signed up for. I did everything I was supposed to do, and I am so unhappy. And so I started looking for a solution. When our pain and our problem is so deep and so painful, that is then what inspires us to take action or start to question, why am I living the way I'm living? Unfortunately, that's how the human psyche works. Nobody ever fixes something because it's mildly problematic. We're only ever inspired to take action because it is deeply problematic and you can't Your entire focus is now on resolving this issue that is facing you and you can't get away from it. And we unfortunately wait until it gets to be that chronic of an issue before we'll do something about it, right? The pain of discomfort has to be bigger than the pain of staying in the same place. Most of us resist, this is going off on a tangent. Most of us resist change because we just don't like change. We don't like the uncertainty. We don't like the newness of change. And we'll only be inspired to change when the cost and the pain of staying the same is, let me think about this the right way. Yeah, the cost of staying the same, the pain that comes from staying the same becomes bigger than the pain that comes from changing, right? Both things are painful. Changing is painful, staying the same is painful. But if that, I want you to think of like a balance beam, right? If the pain of staying the same is less than the pain of changing, you will continue to do the same thing over and over and over. And eventually those scales will start to tip and it'll become equal. And then eventually it'll tip the other way, where the pain of staying the same is more than the pain of changing. So let me give you a health example. I don't know why this episode is kind of going all over the place, but we're going to go with it. So for me, my pain was actually physical pain, where I got diagnosed with an autoimmune disease when I was 23. And for like 6 or 7 years, the physical pain was at sometimes excruciating, where I would have inflammation. It would be so difficult to move, like my joints, and everything took like 10 times the effort as a healthy person. So I was always exhausted and drained. But I was just taking pills, right, to suppress the pain, the physical pain. I was popping so many pills, and there were all these side effects and warnings that my doctors would give me about all these pills that I was taking. But I could tolerate that discomfort of, knowing about these potential risks and just pumping my body with medicine. I was okay with that. So I kept doing it for like 7 years until at one point I just woke up one day and I realized, what the heck am I doing to my body? If I pumped so many chemicals into my body by the time I'm 30 years old, what am I going to feel like when I'm like 60 or 70 if I'm lucky enough to live that long? And honestly, I didn't see myself living for that long with the rate I was going. And that is when my balance beam tipped, right? The discomfort of taking medicine was bigger because I started thinking about my future. I didn't like the future that this was painting if I continued on the same path. So what was the other side of the balance beam is like, okay, I went to see a functional medicine doctor and she told me like my lifestyle had to change, including what I was eating. And that was painful. Like I had to clean out and change so much of my diet. It required so much preparation. It required so much advanced planning. I had to hire somebody to come help me with the cooking because everything had to be done from scratch. And I was very restricted when it came to what I could eat and could not eat. But the pain of staying the same, which was keep popping these pills for as long as I can, was a bigger like suffering for me than the pain that came with having to change my diet and having to change my lifestyle and having to completely change my eating. They were both uncomfortable, but I was willing to be uncomfortable so that I could go towards the future that I want. So I chose the other side. So I have no idea how this gets back to the point I was making, but most of the time, mindset work will only get you so far. Okay. So let me tie it together, what I was saying. So mindset work only addresses conscious thoughts and beliefs. Okay. And we have about 90,000 thoughts a day. So most of us have stage 1 is you have no idea of your thoughts and beliefs. You're just going about your everyday life and you think everything is happening to you. Okay. Step 2 is you start to realize, oh, there are some thoughts and beliefs that I have that are not serving me, but I have no idea how to change it. And then step 3 is like, you start to realize, oh, I really have to like work on what I believe because that is now creating my reality. Okay. And you start to realize that you're connected to everything around you, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But if we just did mindset work alone, then all you're doing is saying, I'm going to address like the 5 to 10% of the thoughts that actually bubble up to my awareness. We have 90,000 thoughts a day, and we are conscious of maybe about 5% of those thoughts. Because think about how many million things you're doing in a day. If we were aware of all those 90,000 thoughts we have in a day, we would go absolutely crazy. So it's self-preservation that we aren't aware of every single one of those thoughts. But this also acts against us because we can't change what we're not aware of. So when you do mindset work, it's a great start, but it does not address 95% of the thoughts that we have that actually drive our behavior on a daily basis. 95% of your thoughts and beliefs are what drive your actions or the lack of actions. And if mindset work only helps you become aware of 5% of it, then you're not addressing 95% of the thoughts and beliefs that drive your actions. You've already lost the game before it's even started. So that's, and I did mindset work for a long time and it worked for a short while and it helped me get started on my transformation journey. But very quickly, I realized this will only take me so far. And I'm very vocal about it. And now I've done a lot of body-based work, which is, what we'll go into later on in this episode. But combining mindset work with body-based work, with energetic work. Now you are talking about true transformation. Because transformation means the change has occurred in my thoughts and beliefs, and it also has occurred in my body. Okay? So when you work with mindset alone, you're only addressing maybe 3,000 of your conscious thoughts. And that's assuming that you're aware of every single conscious thought that you're having and every single conscious belief, which you're not. So that's why mindset work alone is not enough for a transformation. Okay, number 2, mindset work addresses change through willpower. Okay, when you do mindset work, you're like, oh, I'm having a thought where I believe that money is really hard to make. So the conscious change I'm going to make is that I'm going to start believing money is really easy to make, right? That's the flip side of it. If you believe money is really hard to make and that doesn't make you feel good and it doesn't help you expand, then the flip side of that is money is really easy to make. Now, when you say that, does that feel true to you? I'm going to guess and say, no, it doesn't feel true. I think it probably feels like it's a nice to have, but I don't quite believe it. And that's because on a nervous system level and on a body level, you believe still that money is hard to make. That truth is embedded in your body, in the cells of your DNA. It's embedded, it's ingrained in your nervous system. Your nervous system actually feels calmer when you say the belief, money is hard to make, right? Your nervous system actually feels quite stable when you say that. But when you say money is really easy to make, I bet you there's some discomfort there. There's some misalignment there, right? Your nervous system probably feels a little bit activated. Like, what? Like, oh, that's true. But how can I make it true? Like all sorts of things are happening in your nervous system where you feel activated, where you feel triggered by it. You want it to be true, but it's not true yet. And then you get into this thing of like, but how can I make it true? That's what we call a nervous system activation. Your nervous system is immediately trying to solve the problem instead of just opening up and receiving and relaxing into that truth. So when you do just mindset work, what's happening is you are trying to change your beliefs and thoughts through sheer willpower. I'm going to say this affirmation over and over and over and over again. Don't get me wrong, affirmations are great. But if you don't do the energetic and the body-based work, affirmations are a complete waste of time, in my opinion, right? If none of this is ringing true to you, like don't take the advice I'm giving you guys. Because ultimately you know what is true for you. So the mindset work, like trying to will your way into change, will not work. It is not sustainable. If willpower alone was enough, then everybody would have millions of dollars everybody would be wildly successful. Everybody would be running their dream businesses. Everybody would have the body of their dreams, right? If willpower alone was enough, we would all be living our best lives. So why aren't we living our best lives? Because it doesn't just depend on willpower and how hard and bad you want things. It's because something within you is resisting creating that version of you. It says it is not safe. Even though your conscious mind wants it, your body says, your nervous system says, it is not safe. And there are wounded parts of you within you that says, we can't have that, we shouldn't have that. So then you stay stuck in the cycle. So another reason why mindset work alone is not enough, because mindset work only relies on willpower. All right, number 3, your mind does not like change and will look for reasons to quit things. It's amazing. My business coach said this the other day, and I was like, oh my God, it's so true. She's a business coach, right? And she told me, people get on that call and look for reasons not to sign up. And I did this with her. I knew deep down, when I first met my business coach, I got on a call with her and I knew this woman could help me and I wanted her to help me. But I also felt terrified of how much it was going to cost to work with her. I didn't want to deal with that discomfort, right? Again, going back to that balance beam, like I was deeply, deeply unhappy staying stuck, but I was also deeply, deeply unhappy about having to pay her to help me. So I was in this conflict of like, do I, don't I, do I, don't I? And I was when I get on that sales call, this is the old me. I would get on so many sales calls to people selling things to solve my issues, right? And I was having so many of these calls. Why couldn't I just pick one? It was because I was terrified of committing to something, doing the work and believing that it still didn't fix my issues. Right. And plus I didn't want to do the work. I didn't want to spend the money. So rather than like dealing with that issue of facing my fear of spending money and investing in myself, I was spinning my wheels saying, well, I'm actually taking action. I'm actually doing the work. I'm getting on all of these calls to figure out which one's the right program for me, but I wasn't committing to anything. So I could appease my mind and give it a sense of I'm doing something about it while actually not doing anything about it. So I was cheating myself. So if I feel like I'm going all over the place with this episode today. I'm sorry, guys. So when you do mindset work alone and you are asking your mind to help you make some changes, your mind doesn't go, this is a brilliant idea. I'm on board with you. It does not do that. It says, are you effing kidding me? Like, who do you think you are? This is never going to work. So your mind is always looking. So your mind is always looking for reasons not to change the status quo. Even if the status quo is deeply, deeply uncomfortable, it's a status quo that it's used to. It's found coping mechanisms to live with what's happening in your life. So it would rather do that. Your mind is like, no, fine, it's fine. We're finding a way to make things work. Let's just keep doing the thing we're doing and not go into uncharted territory of figuring things out that's never been done before. So what you're doing is fighting your mind against your mind, right? Because there's a part of your mind that's like saying, I want success, I want visibility, I want confidence, I want to be more connected to the people around me. And then there's also a part of your mind that says, well, you can't have any of that. Who do you think you are? If you're more successful, like all of the people that you are, spend time with are probably going to ask you for X, Y, and Z, or they're going to think like you are too braggy or attention seeking or whatever, right? Whatever stories that you're telling yourself about why you can't have the success and the confidence that you want. So you're fighting your mind with your mind to overcome your mind. Now, does that sound like a battle that you can win? Right? This is something that I still experience in certain parts of my life. My business coach, in fact, called this out the other day on a call. She was like, you've set up a game where you can never, ever win against yourself. I was like, oh my gosh, you're so right. Because she called out 2 thoughts and beliefs that I have on a regular basis, and they are completely contradictory. And so if I go that way, I'm screwed. And if I go the other way, I'm screwed. I've set up the game for me to lose no matter what. And so fighting your mind with your mind is exhausting, it's draining, and you will just stay stuck. This is reason number 3 why mindset work alone is not enough for a transformation. There is a part of you that wants to believe that money is easy to make. But there's also a part of you that is terrified about figuring it out. And your conscious mind wants it to be true, but your subconscious is saying, I'm sorry, that sounds way too much for me to handle. So then your mind finds a way to self-sabotage it. And remember, I've said this before, your subconscious mind is your body. It's your body. Because when you say money is easy to make, there's some emotional charge that comes in your body that you feel in your body. Like there's a part of you that's excited, but there's also a part of you that's like, I want to believe it, but I can't. That's an emotional charge that you need to learn how to release through body-based and energetic work. So any action you take is done through the mind. Your mind is the one that dictates or gives you good ideas on what to do. But and that is very important. But you cannot decide or finalize what action it is that you are going to take until you have gone through the body, through breath work, through meditation, through visualization, to clear whatever gunk is in the way of you receiving the thing that you desire on a conscious level. The physical action has to come as a result of you clearing your energy and feeling worthy and deserving of having the thing that you want. So let's get away from the money example and go into, let's say you want to be a more confident person, right? And your conscious mind wants to be confident at work, in relationships, wherever you go. You just want to be bolder, fully expressed, and take me as I am kind of attitude. That's what your mind wants. But your subconscious, which is your body, feels really scared by that thought. Like what will people say? In order to be confident, you've got to be bold and expressive. So you want to be able to speak your mind and you want to speak clearly. But what if you are someone who has an identity of, I'm not a good communicator, right? And if I am loud and expressive and bold, I'm going to get rejected by the world. That is a story that your body is holding on to. So even though in your mind, you want to speak and articulate yourself very clearly, your body, for safety and survival, makes you mumble and makes your palms sweat and tells you it's not safe to speak here. So you can will your way and be like, I'm going to sign up for Toastmasters. That might be a thing that you decide to help you become a great communicator, right? Without ever having addressed the fear of rejection and the fear of speaking up and where all these stories, originated from. And so you can keep going to Toastmasters and you will make incremental improvements. That's wonderful. But you're ultimately going to feel, I still don't have the results that I desire. It's because you have not done the body-based and the energetic work of clearing the deeply embedded fear of the fear of rejection, the fear of unworthiness that comes from being seen. Like if the world sees me and truly hear what I have to say and think, it's not going to be good enough, right? I'm going to get rejected and I will not be accepted and I will not be loved by the world. If I'm not loved and accepted, then I'm going to die, right? That's essentially what your body is trying to protect you against. It sounds ridiculous to the rational mind when I say it like that, but that's what you are fighting against every day when you find yourself not able to speak in the way that you want to. And so this is reason number 4, as to why mindset work alone is not enough, because you're ignoring the body and the nervous system, which is where 95% of your programming resides. And your body is your subconscious mind and it controls your actions. And then that's why I used the example that I just gave you, right? Like you want to be confident and expressive and bold and speak very clearly and just be a great communicator. But no matter how much you will yourself to do it, in the last minute, your body betrays you and you find yourself mumbling your words or swallowing your opinion or hanging back or not having expressed your thoughts very clearly and maybe communicating 30% with the intention and the clarity that you wanted to. And then you beat yourself about it and then you shame yourself about it. And then you decide maybe this is just who I am. And then you stay in the cycle forever, right? There's nothing wrong with you. You just have not released the you haven't integrated parts of yourself that believe I'm a bad communicator. There are wounds, there are protective parts, there are armor, there is a shell that doesn't want to be revealed. This part of you that doesn't want to be revealed and exposed to the world. So it continues to run its patterns. And so through more than mindset work, which I keep calling the energetic and the spiritual work, we start to feel the energy and the emotions that are trapped within these parts that are still trying to protect you. And we accept them and love these parts. And then we bring those wounded parts to the wholeness in us, right? When you were born whole. And over time, these fragments were created that are just kind of floating in a vacuum, doesn't want to be integrated. And through the energetic and the somatic work, we heal these parts of us and we integrate it back into our wholeness. So the somatic work, the breath work, the meditation, the visualization is extremely, extremely powerful. And that is always the work that I do first before I take any action. The action and the inspiration springs from the energetic work that I do on myself and my clients. And finally, true transformation is when you integrate change within the mind and the body. The body has to accept the change that you're trying to make. The body has to decide, I am worthy of receiving this version of me. I am worthy of revealing this version of me. And tapping into this wholeness that we have inside all of us, right? This complete version of us. That's the way we were born. And when we were born, we were just completely the subconscious. There wasn't a conscious mind when you're a baby. You're operating completely off the subconscious mind, which is your body. Your body was hungry, you cried. You wanted attention and love, you cried. Your body responded to your desires and you received, maybe you received it, maybe you did not. But parts of our wholeness started becoming let me take that back. We started believing that we are fragmented and that we are not whole because of our life experiences. And so when you do the healing work, other than through the mind, when you do the healing work through the body, you take your body back to remembering, I am centered. That no matter what my life experience is, no matter what I did to others, no matter what others did to me, I'm still whole. And it's taking your body back to that remembrance. And your nervous system needs to be regulated so that it can receive the wild desires that you have. You need to help your body feel safe to receive the thing that you want so you don't sabotage it as soon as you receive it. I've used this example many, many times before. Like when a lottery winner wins the lottery, right? More often than not, lottery winners blow through their money within like 3 years. It's because their nervous system wasn't regulated to handle that huge influx of cash. They didn't feel safe with it. Their body did not feel safe handling it. So they self-sabotage to get rid of all that money so they can return to what their default used to be. So if you're working towards a massive goal, if you're working towards a more confident version of you, you need to help your body take sips of what does that feel like. You need to help your body feel safe so that you can integrate more and more and more of that version. And this is going to be a massive plug for my program, Reclamation. So in Reclamation, this is ultimately what we do is we do the energetic and the somatic work first in every single coaching session before we come up with an action plan of what is the physical action that you need to take in the 3D world, right? And I keep talking about the 3-dimensional world because most of us try to create change by just addressing what's going on in the 3-dimensional world, and we think that will get us the results we want. We have not addressed what is going on. Our internal landscape always dictates what a 3D reality is. So if you're only trying to change through your 3D reality without addressing your internal landscape, your results will continue to be the same or disappointing. So if this is resonating with you and you're like leaning in, full body leaning, going, oh my gosh, this is where I've been stuck. This is why all the books I'm reading, all the podcasts I'm listening to, all the actions that I've been taking on and off here and there is not working. I invite you to book a call with me right now. Let's chat, just a 30-minute chat to figure out, is this the right next step for you? At least you'll have clarity. You'll walk away knowing, what is it that I need to do next? Maybe it's not to work with me. Maybe it's something else, but you will have clarity. And so the link to booking a call is in the show notes. And I look forward to chatting with you.